Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Breslov Efrat here in Shira David, Baruch Hashem. And today is Moedim L'Simcha, a good Mayid, right? And all the other good things. Today we're going to continue of course, we're going to continue Likutey Halachos, but we're working on the Sefer Esrata and Lachem, and in honor of the Sefira. So today is Hayom Chamisha Yom Lomer, right? If anyone didn't count, so you could say it right now, Hayom Chamisha Yom Lomer, then you can continue to count, right? And today is the midah of Hod Shebechesed, right? Hod Shebechesed. So what does Hod mean? Thank you, saying thanks, right? Hodah, right? Giving thanks. That's the root of the word. It's Hodah. It's a Hod, to give thanks. Shebechesed. So he writes now, Ben Adam L'Mokim. How do you relate to this between you and Hashem? How do you relate to the chesed, the height of the chesed with you and Hashem? So he says, Yitain Adam Alibay, Ki Kidei Lekabel Es HaChesed V'Atoy Me'Habayri Yisbarach, Yesh Le Laharbes L'Hoidais L'Halaloi. Look at this. In order to get the chesed from Hashem, if you want to get more chesed from Hashem, what do? Give more thanks. Right? Kidei lekabel es hachesed va'atoy me'abayri yizbarach. One more time. In order to accept the chesed and the tov from Hashem, you want to get that in your life. You want that. Yesh le laharbes l'hoidleis l'halal Hashem. Thank Hashem. Give praise to Hashem. This is what we said yesterday. We were talking about the whole idea with this play. This the first thing you do is you always thank Hashem for everything I do have and everything that He does provide for me. And that's an amazing thing to do. Right, yeah. to thank the Rebbeinu for everything that we have.
I mean, we're all fathers. Look how you react to the child you have who says thank you to you.
You feel it's so special.
You can't give them enough.
You want to give more.
You want to give more.
You want to give more, right?
Yeah. Because they're the ones.
Well, that's the mashal for the dimshal, right?
Yeah.
So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our Father.
Yeah.
Is the Father of all mankind, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He takes pride every time that we say thank you, then we recognize that He's the one providing us. That's amazing. It's an amazing idea right there. So he says now, Sharei bara es olamai kidei sheyakiru habayres b'malchusai. Because Hashem made the whole world and everything, so we should recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu's king. He's the king of the world, His kingdom. His kingdom. Not the kingdom that the world believe, they believe everything else. But really, HaKadosh Baruch is the Melech Malchei Hamlachim. He's the king of all kings. Okay, and v'yachnu tachtav by the asam loy. We lower ourselves by thanking Hashem. Because so long as I think that I'm so smart, like the Torah says, right? I'm so smart, I'm so crafty, I'm so this, and that's why I made all this. I have everything that I have. Because I'm clever. But no. But if I can subdue, and I say, no, why am I clever? I'm clever because Hashem gave me the cleverness. Where did it come from? Did we ever go? Did you go to the store and order? I want to be like this. I want that. I need this. We didn't order. Whatever we got, we have. Where do we get it from? No, but really, it's an amazing thing to think about. It's an amazing thing to think about. Everything that we have was given to us by Hashem for the purpose that we can recognize Him in the world.
And that includes our talents, skills, abilities,
everything.
Well,
that's also
anything and everything. Our health, our wealth, and our well-being. Everything.
And also to teach us something.
Yeah,
I think that, I have one of my logins says I am in training with Hashem.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
One. I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then he brings down here from the Navi Yeshaya that said v'Amar Yada Shor Kainu. Is that the word Kainu? Yeah. V'chamar Avos ba'alav. So the shor knows. He knows the ox knows his master, and the donkey knows his trough that he eats from, wherever where he gets his food. He knows that. So you learn, therefore it's good for the ox and the donkey to do good for their owner. Why? Because their owner's taking care of them, right? Aval Yisrael lo yada ami lo yisbainin. Lo yada ami lo yisbainin. That's what the Navi Yeshai said. We're not thinking, we're not hisbaining us, not thinking it through. That's the problem. We don't think. But if we do think and we realize where everything comes from and we thank Hashem, that's what we started with saying. Give thanks to Hashem. But now you can fulfill the midah of chesed to gain more chesed in your life, to gain more chesed, to be able to do more chesed through giving thanks. So that's what it means. This is what it means. Bein adam la'makayim hoyd shebechesed. This is the hoyd shebechesed. Give the thanks to Hashem in order to be able to increase the chesed. Yeah. They're saying, yeah. Okay, so then that was that. Now, then he says here, Bein adam la'chaveru l'shtadol lahabes b'maasei hachesed v'hava. Make a good effort. Make a strong effort in doing chesed and love with other people. Love your friends, love your neighbors. V'hafta l'reicha kamaycha. Zeh klal gadol b'Torah. Right? Rabbi Akiva taught us that. V'hafta l'reicha kamaycha. Zeh klal gadol b'Torah. Now he says, who? Im talmidei chachamim shein balei mishnah. Specifically with Talmidei Chacham, Torah scholars. If you do good with Torah scholars, when Imsa Mashlim is Midas HaChesed, Aydei Midas HaHayd, you can be Mashlim the Midah Chesed with the Midah of Hayd, because again, the Talmidei Chacham is studying HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah. They are closer to Hashem because again, when you study the Torah, it helps our midos, right? Torah guides us to be better people. So then you're being mash, and they're thanking Hashem for everything else. So when you give them a Talmud Chacham, so he thanks Hashem. So the Talmud Chacham, of course, when you give the tzaddik money, so he thanks you. But really, he's giving really thanks to Hashem that he sent this person to give you the money. So you mash them the midah of chesed through giving, through whatever you're doing. Okay. Now he says you should do this bisman yishtadel lohaydais. Another thing is to be makir toiv to somebody. Someone did something good for you. So always to be makir toiv, to always say thank you, to always to feel. No one knows us. No one knows anyone anything, right? But if someone does something, gives something, to be market type. Show again. That's the midah of height. Thank you, and you can do that. You can do that with people, and by doing that, it helps us to recognize it's all from Hashem. And again, that's how you can be mashal in the midah of height shebechesed by through the thanks. It's all through the thanks. And he says you could do this in the bracha. Yishtadel lechavim b'tfilah shmona esrei bebirchas mekabes nidchei ama Yisrael b'tfilah shachar shetikna Avram. We can do it also in mincha. It's the same thing. Mekabes nidchei ama Yisrael. That's a beautiful bracha that we're talking about there. The Arizal brings down that we're talking about that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be mekabes all of the tipas, all of the things that were lost. And he speaks about there in the shamas that are mekaf lakela. They're in the shamas that were released that have nowhere to go. They're just in limbo. They're just in limbo. I mean, is that a good word to use? They have nowhere to go. So mikabetz nidchayama yisrael chaya bola v'akiena. We learned about that, right? That's the acronym that HaKadosh Baruch Hu can gather back all of those things and all those neshamas and put them in the right places where they have to be. Such a beautiful idea. And he says, how can you be kinyan? And he says, and we're learning also the 48 kinyanim of Torah, right? That's also, we do this in the project. Kinyan Torah today is be'ema. Be'ema. What's be'ema? Fear. Ema is like in trepidation. Well, Eli, how would you translate ema? in English? Intrepidation. You like that word? Okay, good. Ellie agrees. Baruch Hashem. Intrepidation. No, I'm happy. No, I'm good. I always like the translation. Words can be very different. So I always understood it as like an intrepidation that to feel when you learn the Torah. When you're learning Torah, to realize, so sometimes we're learning these things that we're learning. Let's say, you're learning things in Baba Kama, Baba Basa, a little bit dry. You don't feel, but you have to realize that's really the word of Hashem. These are all the things of Hashem, and sometimes you need to use a little bit in trepidation in order to be able to stay focused on it. To realize what is this? These are really the words of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. My Yetzer is telling me, what's so important about this? The Shah did this, he did that, he was not okay with this. This is all very important. So be'ema. Okay, so this is what we learned in our project. So the main thing is, if you want to be able to increase your chesed in your life, say thank you. Thank the Rabbeinu Shalom, and try to say thank you to people. Right, and try to do good for Talmidei Chachamim. If you do that, because again, they're always thanking the Rabbeinu Shalom, and through them thanking Hashem, there's more thanks in the world, and there's more chesed in the world, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. Okay, so let's turn now to Likutey Halachos. We're in Halacha Beis, and today we're up to letter Zayin. All right, today we're up to letter Zayin. I think that's where we left off, right?
7.
Yeah. All right. So we're learning all these things about the threes and the fours, which is 7. So now again, so Rav Nosson does it. Is also going to bring what else is 7 is Shabbos. Remember, Mordechai, you asked me that day, how come I don't wear my tefillin on Yontif? How come I don't wear my tefillin on Shabbos? Right?
Or Cholamoid.
On Cholamoid, right? Yontif, well, Cholamoid is a Yontif, right? We say Moadim L'Simcha, right? It's part of the Moed, right? Right? It's part of the Moed. Okay, so let's see. We'll learn about it today in Mitzvah Hashem. Okay, so the Rebbe says today. Okay, so we have the shin on the tefillin shel rosh we were learning about. Right, that there's two shins. Remember, we learned that concept. There are two shins. Right, on the right side there's a 3, and on the left side there's a 4. Right, so 3 and 4. All right, so now we're going to see. So now we're going to learn about Shabbos and this other. So the klalius shnei shashinin, that the klalius, and in general we have this idea that we have this idea of the two shins, right? It's not a mistake. Again, and people should always remember that we have the 3 and the 4. We learned so much why it was 3 and so much why it was 4, right? Shame. You have to in total you have 7 heads. 7 prongs, right? Because each shin, there are 3 and there are 4, makes a total of 7. Shem bechinas yisoid, shu bechinas Shabbos, shu yoim hashvi. Shabbos is yoim hashvi, 7. So there you go. You have 7, and this is one of the most amazing things I love of Rav Nosson as he goes through the lesson. Oh, so if I brought this thing in, so let me tell you something about this number again. Right? So you say we have 7, so let's learn a little bit about Shabbos. Now, because he says, okay, so now also, so he's saying the Yesod. So really, the midah of Yesod is really the 6th midah, right? Right, you have 7 midos, right? You have Chesed, Gevurah, Tferes, Netzach, Hoid, Yesod, which is 6, and Malchus, which is 7. So Shabbos is really Malchus, right? But no, it's Yesod. Why? Because again, Yesod is the bottom one that makes into to have the Malchus. You need the Yesod, the same way we said we have we have Chachma and Bina, and through them you get the Das that breaks into Chesed, to Chesed and Gevurah. So now if you want to take, how do you get Malchus out of Yesod? If you have the proper Yesod, so then you can have the Malchus, which is all encompassing. All right, it's an amazing idea right there. Just to understand that. In other words, you need to have your purity. Purity will bring you into Malchus. If you want to have the Malchus of Hashem, you need to be pure, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is purity, not impurity, right? Purity. So the more purity you have, the more acceptance that you can have of the Malchus of Hashem. And then, like we were just learning before, how do you do that? By always thanking the Rebbeinu Shalom, recognizing. So then when you keep doing that, when you keep thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu always, and you're thanking Him, so you realize it's all, you have more recognition of Hashem in your life, and you have more of the Shivisi Hashem L'Negdi Summit, that Hashem is always with me in my life. So then we're more careful about what we do, what we see, who we make connections with, and so on and so forth, right? So that's why he thinks that he's calling it Yesod Shezeh Bechinas Melupim Sheyesh HaNekuda Shel Ora. Okay, which we learned about the Melupim again, right? That's the vav, that's the vowel, one of the vowels, right? Is that vowels, right? That's a vowel, right? It's one of the vowels, and it's the one that has a vav and a dot in the middle. There's a machlokes, it's either in the middle or on top. But either way, it's a vav with a dot, and a kuda and a dot. So we learned before that what was the nekuda? Nekuda is the tzaddik, right? And then the line is Klal Yisrael, and then the tzaddik is Meir. The nekuda is Meir, gives light to Klal Yisrael. That was we learned about the Malupim last time. Okay, sheyesh nekuda shel or, right? You have the or, the Malupim, which you have that nekuda, and where does that nekuda come from? The or atikun. Then where does it come from? From the Yesod of the Olam Atzilus. The tzaddik is so connected to that light. So the tzaddik has it. So he could be Meir, he can give light to the other. Okay, to the Yud. Okay, Bechinas, now, so if you take a Yud and a Vav, right? So you take a Yud and a Vav, you can get 7. Now how do you get 7? How do you get 7 from 10, and 4? How do you Yud ice, which we said the Yud is an ice, which we said the Yud yesterday is also a Vav, right? And the Kud is also a Vav, right? And then you have the little dot. So the dot would be part of a Yud, which is 10. Because again, either if you want to do it like that, you can always say the Mispar Katan. The Mispar Katan you would drop the 0, you would have 1. So either way, if you want to say it's a Yud, or you want to say it's a dot, that it's 1, right? Either way it works. Either way it's going to work. And that's Zocher Es Yom HaShabbos, the Zion. Because if you take the dot, you take 1, right? With the Vav, the numerical value of Vav is 6. Plus the dot, so the Malupim is really 7. 7. Again, the Tefilin is 3 and 4, also makes 7, which is also Shabbos. So he's showing you that the vowel is connected to Shabbos, the vowel is connected to the Tefillin Shel Rosh, and so on. Zocher Es Yom HaShabbos, Kamuva, okay now. Balkein, Shabbos loves man Tefillin. And therefore Shabbos is not a time that we wear our Tefillin. Because again, Shabbos is the 7. So you have the 7 that you get from the Tefillin gives you the 7, but Shabbos is the 7. Shabbos has the 7. It is 7. Because it's 7, you don't need him. And we said that ukshatem lo'ois al yetchem, right? We say in the Shema, we say ukshatem lo'ois al yetchem. Put the sign on your hand, the sign. Shabbos is also called an ice. It's also called a sign. So Tefillin is a sign, Shabbos is a sign. The Gemara says that a Jew always has to have 2 signs. 2 signs. One sign is the Ois Bris Kodesh. Is the Bris Milah that we had. That's one sign that we always have with us. So during the week, on a regular week, we always have to have our Tefillin. Because our Tefillin will be the other sign. That's the second sign. If I don't have my Tefillin, then I only have one sign. That's no good. I need to have 2. I need to always have 2. So when Shabbos comes in, we said Shabbos is also the 7, which is also the ice. So it takes the place of the Tefillin on the Shabbos. Because the whole point of the Tefillin is what to recognize Hashem. But what is Shabbos? The mere fact that we don't do the malachos and we don't do the different prohibitions that we're not allowed to do, and we do enjoy the Shabbos and we do keep the positive commandments of Shabbos, and we do that, so that the whole thing is demonstrating Hakadosh Baruch. We have Hashem in our life. It's more prevalent in our life because of the way the makeup of the day itself. Is that a good way to say it, David? Do you agree with that?
Beautiful.
That's Shabbos by itself. Okay, now, He says, Ki Shabbos v'Yom Tov heim atzman ois. Because Shabbos and Yom Tov, they by themselves are a sign by themselves. The whole idea with the Yom Tov is you're constantly recognizing Hashem, that He made us this holiday. What is the whole holiday? Yom Tov Pesach, right? The whole Yom Tov Pesach is recognizing Zaman Cheiruseinu. The whole idea of the Yom Tov Pesach is Zaman Cheiruseinu. What does it mean, Zaman Cheiruseinu? It's the time of our freedom. But are we free? We're in Golas. So what do we say? No, but our minds are free. We can free our minds. We don't have to have the slave mentality in our minds. We're free. That's what we have to remember. The Mitzrayim enslaved us, and we had a slave mentality, right? We had a slave mentality. That's why we fell so low. We fell so low in Mitzrayim, right? We fell so low in Mitzrayim that we looked like the Mitzrayim. We wore clothing like them. We dressed, well, maybe they said that we didn't change our cool clothing, but on some level, maybe they, they didn't wear their clothing. They wore the same clothing, but they wore it in another way.
A lot of us assimilated, so, I mean...
Yeah, but they said in Mitzrayim that we didn't change our names, we didn't change our clothing, we didn't change our language.
Yeah.
Those were three things that we didn't do in Egypt, right?
Yeah.
But even if that's the case, but we still were serving idols. We were bowing down to the idols, right? Because even when it came to Kabbalah Satorah, the Malachim said that Haim v'Haim Mishtachim, they're also bowing down to that. So why are you saving them, right? When it came, there was a big kitrig in Shemayim, right? But again, when we realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out l'cheiris oilam, that we may find ourselves in difficult situations in life. We may find ourselves in situations where we don't find ourselves in a way that we would like to be. But again, I don't have to enslave my mind to it. They may make me physically work. They may make me do whatever it is. But I don't have to be enslaved. My mind doesn't have to be enslaved to it. I can have a free mind. I have free speech, free thought. That's what the main thing is. So Shabbos and Yom Tov is a sign. 7. Shabbos and Yom Tov is 7 because Shabbos and Yom Tov is 7. So therefore, I don't have to worry about not wearing my tefillin on Shabbos and Yom Tov. We don't have to have the tefillin. The main thing is to remember that it's a sign. Bechinas bris, which is an aspect of bris. What's bris? The same idea. We say that we have the bris kodesh, right? Which is a sign, which is a bris, and that's why we keep saying that the whole thing is purity. Sheshama nekuda, that's the nekuda. V'lechem b'Shabbos v'Yom Tov. Therefore, on Shabbos and Yom Tov, we don't have to wear the tefillin. Why? Ki oz me'ira nekuda me'atzma. Me'bechinas kedushas hayamim ba'atzma. The sign, the nekuda itself is being me'ira. The sign, the little dot, the dot is being me'ira. That dot is shining. Ki ze'ika kedusha Shabbos bechinas haras hanekuda kedusha. The whole thing is the aura of the nekuda kedusha. Where does that come from? That comes from the aura tikun. And where does that come from? That comes from the olam atzilus. And where the 6th level in the olam atzilus, which we said is the level of Yesod. And Shabbos is also called Yesod. Shabbos is called Yesod. Why is Shabbos called 6? Because 6 is 7. Leil Shabbos. Shabbos is the time of Yesod. Kamuva, Vigam Yom Tov, and also Yom Tov is also a Yesod of the Shvi. It is also connected to the 7. Mekabel me Shabbos, because Yom Tov accepts all from Shabbos. Yom Tov has the kedusha from Shabbos. K'maisha kasa b'zayir hakadosh, as it says in the Zayir. Val came b'Shabbos oilim kolei lamois, and that's why on Shabbos all the worlds are elevated. All the worlds are elevated when Shabbos comes in. Why are all the worlds are elevated? Because Shabbos is me'ira. Shabbos shines and it gives the light, so all of the worlds can have their tikkun. There's a tikkun when all the worlds, like we say in the Kigavna on Shabbos. Okay, now, Ela shleimus hakadusha b'chanisa Shabbos, when the Shabbos comes in. When the Shabbos is coming in, it's so special, it's so beautiful when the Shabbos comes in. That's why it's such an important thing to have tais for Shabbos, right? When Shabbos, they tell you Shabbos is, let's say, 6:46, right? So you can make Shabbos 6:36. Make Shabbos a little earlier. You can always do that. You can always make Shabbos a little earlier.
And end a little late.
What? And end Shabbos a little later. Yeah. End Shabbos a little tais for Shabbos. Bring Shabbos into your life. We could bring Shabbos in. We don't have to wait for the Shabbos to come in. I could bring Shabbos in.
Like we bring the day in.
Like you could bring the day in. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's the same idea. It's the same idea. And when you bring your day in, you're making your day into a day of Shabbos when you do that. Because you're recognizing Hashem. That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. Shezeh nasa idea oras hanekuda. Because where does that come from? That oras hanekuda, the light of the nekuda, we said from the malupin, that little dot. That little dot is bright. It's shining. It's shining into the six. See, that's the whole point. The little dot shines into the six. The dot is Shabbos. The Shabbos shines into the six. What six? The 6 days of the week. The 6 days, when it's a chag. When it's a chag, you have a Shabbos in the chag. That Shabbos in the chag and the Shabbos before the chag is me'er, brings light to the chag itself. The dot brings light to the six. You see this? It's the little dot. You know, the way I always like to look at it is like this, you know, if you're in a very, very dark place and you take out only a little match, right? You find yourself in a basement or there's a hafsakas chashmal and all the traces are closed and the house is pitch dark and you can't see a thing, right? So but if you light a match, wow, look at that little light dispels so much darkness, right? Mm-hmm. A little match. It dispels, wow, everything's so clear. Wow. But what is it? It's a little tiny thing. How many lumens of light is it? It's nothing. How many lumens is it? It's not much light, right? It's not much light. But again, that's the little dot of Shabbos. The little dot of Shabbos is meir so much into the darkness of the 6 days of the week. It's so bright, it gives a brightness into the 6 days of the week. That's the beauty of Shabbos. That's the beauty of Shabbos. So therefore, on Shabbos, I have that light. I have the light. The same thing that Tefilin gives me my light every day. It gives me my light every day. But Shabbos does the same thing. Maybe Shabbos can possibly be doing it even a little stronger than the Tefilin. Possibly. Possibly we can say that Shabbos is even a little stronger. Okay? Shehi bechinas Shabbos, al yedei zeh niskashrin kol hashviras. I can bring back all of the things that were broken, everything that was broken, that I broke in my life, all of the things I broke, I can fix them. Rabbi Nachman says, if I believe I can break something, I have to believe I can fix it. This is how I can fix it. Shabbos. Shabbos is the way to fix it. If it broke, I broke it, I can fix it. And I will fix it, and it will be fixed. But it's not fixed the way we understand fixing. When it's fixed, it's as if it was never broken. It's fixed in such a way that it's perfect. It's not like when you have a shattered thing and you take some crazy glue. What do you use? Have those different glues, right? But when you look at it closely, you can see it's still broken. When you fix something in Ruchnias, it's fixed. There's no seams. There's nothing. It's perfect. It's perfect. You could be niskasha kol hashviras, all the things that were broken. El shoirish nekudasam, to the shoirish of that nekuda. And where's the shoirish of the nekuda? The light. Where does it come from? The yesod. Where does it come from? From the yesod of the world of Atzilus. The purity. Again, the more purity we bring upon ourselves, the closer we are always to the Rabbeinu Shalom. And that's why we have a mitzvah of Einik Shabbos. Einik, what's Onik? Delight. Enjoy. You should enjoy the Shabbos. Not just have Shabbos, enjoy the Shabbos. Enjoy it. So someone will say, well, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. What do you mean, Einik? You know, Chazal teaches that really, you know, when you have your cheshbon, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us our cheshbon, how much money we're going to have all year. Right, that cheshbon that comes in on Rosh Hashanah, that's signed on Yom Kippur, right, that cheshbon, it doesn't include what you spend on Shabbos. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Whether you spend on Shabbos is not in part of that cheshbon. That's a separate account. That's a separate account. So never go to the store and say, well, I really want to buy this for Shabbos. But it's too much money. No! Hey, buy it! Buy it because it's not your cheshbon anyway. That's a separate account. It's going to be covered by another account. It's not going to be covered by that account. Amazing. The mitzvah of Einik Shabbos. Again, you have to have the emunah in that. You have to believe. You have to believe that there's a separate account, and you have to just go for it. Go for it, and then enjoy it on the Shabbos for the sake that Kodesh Baruch Hu gives me, and He wants me to enjoy my Shabbos. That's how I fix things. How do you like that? I fix things by enjoying Hashem's Shabbos. Unbelievable. I may have enjoyed other things that I shouldn't have, right? I may have spent time enjoying things that were not right. But now if I can enjoy where Hashem tells me to enjoy, Shabbos, so that's how I could fix the other things that I enjoyed perhaps that weren't the right thing to enjoy. But I could fix it with the same idea, but now I'm doing it for the right reason. I'm taking my eining, my delight on Shabbos, and I could fix the other things that weren't so right. Kiyaz, because then on Shabbos, it's revealed. This Nekuda Kedosha, this thing that we're talking about, this light, the dot, the little dot from the Malupim, that little dot, the one that's Meir the 6th. That's the main point here. We said that the little one, is Meir the 6th. It gives light to the 6th. You understand, David? The one day of the week. The one day of the week gives light to the 6 days.
The match in the dark.
Huh?
The light in the dark.
It's the light in the dark. But the day of Shabbos illuminates the 6 days. Mm-hmm. And therefore, when it comes to Shabbos and Yom Tov, and we said Yom Tov, where does Yom Tov comes from Shabbos. Yom Tov has the Kedusha of Shabbos in it. It has Shabbos in it, right? Right? The laws are all the same on Yom Tov as Shabbos. The only thing is you're allowed to cook. Right? Because we're allowed to cook, you're allowed to prepare Eichel Nefesh, you're allowed to do it, but all the other laws are the same. Every other law is the same on Shabbos and Yom Tov except for the fact that you can cook. Things pertaining to cooking. But anything else stays the same. Right? That's the only difference. So what do you see from that? You see the deep connection that Yom Tov has to Shabbos. Right? Yom Tov has that deep connection to Shabbos. Okay, now through that in this battle, you can now nullify Havais Hanafulais, all of those wrongful love, all of the love the misplaced love, all of that misplaced love, I can now repair it with my love of Shabbos, my love of Hashem, my love of Klal Yisrael, my love of Eretz Yisrael. I can replace it. And that's why on Shabbos we talk about Eretz Yisrael. We talk about Am Yisrael on Shabbos, right? Then we talk about that there's one nation. Where is the one nation in Eretz Yisrael? That's what Shabbos is all about. The connection to love Eretz Yisrael, love Klal Yisrael. Shabbos, love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, love the Torah. That's what it's all about. And then I could fix up all the Havas Hanafulas, all of those misplaced love that I may have been involved in beforehand. And that's where Rabbi Nachman is trying to teach us that I can believe if I broke something, I can fix it. When can I fix it? On Shabbos. But Shabbos is not a time of repair.
Right.
You said you're going to Shabbos, you're not allowed to repair things. You can't repair physical things. But spiritual things can be. But you're not really repairing. What you're doing is you're just enjoying. And the enjoyment itself works on mending and fixing all the other things. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. When you just enjoy the Shabbos, just to be happy on the Shabbos, to feel joy on Shabbos. Eat your food in enjoyment. Enjoy the Shabbos. Enjoy. Unbelievable. Through being merited to merit to have the Einik Shabbos, to have the rightful holy love. Holy love. That's why also, it says that a Talmid Chacham is supposed to have relations with his wife when? Only on Shabbos, right? Only on Shabbos, not during the week, right? That's what the Chazal teach us that. That you really is supposed to have, the relations are supposed to happen on Shabbos itself. Why? Because that's the time of Yesod. That's the time to fix all the ahavas that went wrong. I do it in that right time that you're supposed to have the ahava. That's what the Chazal teach us. The bechinas, Oz tisaneg al Hashem. Oz tisaneg al Hashem. Then I'm going to have tainig with Hashem. I'm going to have that delight with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. To feel the timing of Ruchta, to feel the holiness of spirituality on Shabbos. Feel a little bit more spiritual. Feel the love and feel and enjoy that feeling. Enjoy the feeling. And because where does that come from? Because that comes from the Nekuda, that it's not broken. That comes from the light that's repaired. That's repairing. That's repaired light. Valkein Shabbos loves man tefillin. So therefore on Shabbos now you understand I don't need to wear my tefillin because Shabbos itself is teaching me the same thing. It demonstrates everything that tefillin demonstrates. So that's why I don't have to wear my tefillin on Shabbos because Shabbos is in lieu of the tefillin. Okay, now v'zeh bechinas shloishes suda shel Shabbos, and that's the reason why we have to have 3 meals on Shabbos, right? A lot of people don't realize that, right? You have to have 3 meals, right? Now the days are getting a little longer, so people get hungry. So they eat the third meal because they're practical. They're hungry, right? But really, you're supposed to have supposed to have 3 meals, even when Shabbos is over very early, right? So some people would finish their lunch 2:30 in the afternoon. Mincha is at 3:50, and then I'm going to eat again. Yeah, because I'm eating because it's Shabbos. You know, they say that really the Shalosh Shudas is the meal that redeems our other meals. Remember we learned that? Maybe we'll say it one more time. Should we talk about it one more time? Yeah. You know, when it comes to Friday night, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was so happy. And he calls the Malachei Yashar, he calls all the Malachim. We say Shalom Aleichem Malachei Yasharis, right? All of the Malachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he's bringing the Malachim in to see how we're serving Hashem and we're eating His meal, right? We just learned we have to eat on the Shabbos, right? It's Gewalt, right? We eat. So the Malachim say to Hashem, but wait a second, you know, the guy, was working all week and he's very hungry now and that's why he's eating his meal. So Hashem says, oh, okay, all right, all right. Then comes the morning meal. Right, the morning meal comes, right? So we daven like a Shira David. We end a little later than other shuls, right? And then by the time you come home, it's 12:15, right? And then you're ready a little bit. You're hungry, right? So again, Hashem says, look, you see they're sitting down and making kiddush. Yeah, but look, they didn't eat all morning. They're hungry. They're eating that they're hungry. Well, then what happens, Hashem, when we wash for the last meal, for the third meal? The Shalosh Sudas Rav and the Ravin, that's the highest meal. When we wash for that meal, Hashem says, it calls them back again. And now what are you guys going to say? They just finished eating. They're full. They ate good. But now they're eating again a Suda for me. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu uses the third Suda, the third meal, to redeem the other 2 meals. Because the other 2 are to show that the same way they're eating this Suda, they're eating it Lishma, they're eating it for my sake. Because I told them to have 3 Sudas, so too the first Sudas they also ate Lishma. And he shuts up the Malachim. They're troublemakers. They try to make us trouble. But Hashem loves us. Hashem loves us. That's why He gave us the third meal. He wants us to have the third meal. And that's why you see there's so much people I don't want to eat Shalosh Shudas, right? No one, you never see anyone will never tell you they're not going to eat the Friday night meal, right? You ever hear anyone say, I'm not hungry, I'm not eating that meal? You ever hear that? Never heard that, right? You ever hear lunch when it comes to the Shabbos morning and you're eating it? You ever see anyone, no, I'm not hungry, I'm not eating. You ever hear that? But when it comes to Shalosh Shudas, I'm full, I can't eat, right? Isn't it amazing? It's mamish amazing. And again, this goes to the same thing. Anytime you see that there's a little bit of opposition to something in any, you want to say something now?
Just say there's some Hasidim that just sing and don't eat Shalosh Shudas.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Chabad Hasidim don't eat Shalosh Shudas, but they eat fruit.
Oh, they do. Okay.
They eat something. They do eat fruit. They'll have a cup of wine. They'll do something.
Okay.
That's a different minute. That's a different thing. But I'm talking about everyone else, regular Jews that are not following the Chabad Hasidus, and they're doing the regular Jews. Right. Okay, all right. Yeah. By I would say, except for Chabad, by all Hasidim. Shalosh Chudus is a very big thing. Shalosh Chudus is very, very big. It's very, very big.
Some say, or I've heard, that if you're not hungry, you could learn instead, because that also brings you joy.
You can learn instead, but again, what we just said now is you have to eat.
You have to eat.
Eat, but now you're eating lishma. Now you're not eating. You're not eating because you want to eat. You understand? Okay. Now you're eating because I have a mitzvah to eat.
Okay. However, you implied that it does not have to be bread.
It's supposed to be, well, now you eat matzah, but okay.
Right, well, the bread of affliction.
Yeah. No. But you should, if you can, you should wash and you make it into a regular meal. Wash, he makes it into a meal. It's a meal. It's a suda.
I just noticed, but when you read it there, it didn't say that, but
it didn't say what? That's the 3 meals. He uses the word 3 meals. Shalosh su'udais shel Shabbos. What's a suda meal?
Okay.
Would you say a meal? Would you be satisfied on a regular day? And I tell you, Mordechai, you're hungry for lunch. Let's take out a Gemara. Let's do the Daf Yomi now instead. I don't know. Maybe. But when it comes to Shalosh Shudas, now I'm going to be a masmid. I'm going to be a Torah scholar. I'm going to learn instead. But how come any other meal you didn't do that? Now I'm just showing. Would anyone ever think of doing that during any other meal instead of any other meal? Yeah, the Badisheva did that. Remember I told you that story with the Badisheva, right? He finished. The Badisheva was once traveling. He was once traveling, and he wanted to be somewhere for Yom Kippur, right? He wanted to be a certain place for Yom Kippur. Whatever, it didn't work out, and he wound up being in some little town. And they didn't really even know who he was. They had no idea who the Kedushas Levi was. It was such a little town. So he asked the Chevra, he says, "Can I daven for the Amen?" They said, "Sure." They said, "Sure." Well, we don't really want to do it anyway. And he gave them a davening. He woke them up. Wow! Could you just imagine a Kol Nidre from the Kedushas Levi? His Meyer, wow! Could you just imagine the Kedushas? Wow! Anyway, he davened all the tefillas. Came to Shachris and he davened the Musaf, he davened Mincha, he davened Ne'ilah. And when he finished davening, the people were like, wow! They never experienced anything like that in their lives. And then they sat down and they were all going home. They wanted to go eat. So they asked the Kedush Levi, would you like to eat with us? He says, no, do you have a Masech? I need a Masechta Sukkah. I need a Masechta Sukkah. He wanted the tractate of Sukkos, the Talmudic tractate of Sukkos. He wanted to read that. And he sat down and he went through the whole Masechta Sukkos. He went through the whole thing. He had his delight over his learning. That's what he ate. He ate the words of the Gemara. He was eating that. But okay, that's it. We're talking about a huge tzaddik. Okay, but we're talking about here normal people, right? So normal people that we're happy to eat our regular meals. When we have a meal, right? Right. We have a meal. We're always happy to eat, right? They even have an expression, right? Don't call me late for lunch, right? You ever hear that expression, right? Just don't call me late for lunch, right?
Tell me anything you want, but don't call me late for dinner. Right.
Or dinner or lunch, whatever. But, right,
my dad was dinner. I'm sorry.
He said dinner.
That was his minhag.
Okay. Either way. So that's an amazing idea also. So here we learned. So now we learned you wanted to know why you don't have to wear your tefillin on Chol Hamoed. You want to know why you don't wear your tefillin on Yontif, right, and on Shabbos, right? That's what you asked, right? So now you know that the whole idea. Let's just review, okay? The whole idea is 7. The whole idea is 7, and the 7 is really 6. Why is the 7 6? Because again, the 6th makes the 7th, right? And why? And the 7th we said is the little nakuda, like we said in the Malupim, right? It has the little dot. So the little dot is Shabbos. Shabbos is that little dot that lights the 6 days of the week. Shabbos is the light that's meir. Where does it come from? It comes from that Or HaTikun, the spiritual light. It infuses so much light into the 6 days, and that's why every day we keep reminding ourselves of Shabbos. Hayom Yom Rishon b'Shabbos, Hayom Yom Sheni b'Shabbos. We're trying to draw the Shabbos, the light of the Shabbos, into our day. That's what we're trying to do. You understand? We're trying to draw the light of Shabbos into our day. And how do we draw the light of Shabbos into our day? How do we do that? Normally, we do that through Tefilin, through the Tefillin, right? Every day we have the Tefillin, so we're drawing the light of Shabbos, which is 7, into my day using my Tefillin. I draw that. But Shabbos, it's so strong. Shabbos is so strong. It's so revealed. It's so much more revealed. So since it's so much more revealed on Shabbos, I don't need my Tefillin to remind me. And Yontif, we said, gets its kedusha from Shabbos. The whole idea of Yontif gets its kedusha from Shabbos, and that's where it has its kedusha, right? We said that really every Yontif that comes out, let's say a Yontif that comes out on Tuesday, like this Yontif now, right? Tonight is going to be Yontif again, right? So Tuesday, anything till Tuesday, we said till what do you call it? On Tuesday till Shkia. Till Shkia, if a person forgot to make Havdalah, right? If you forgot, let's say it happened, the person was busy, whatever it was, who knows, and he didn't make Havdalah. So till Shkia comes on Tuesday, you can still make Havdalah. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You can make the full Havdalah with the candle, with the besamim, with the grape juice, the whole thing till Tuesday. But after Tuesday night, you can't do that anymore. Why? Because that's already the next week. That's drawing the next week. So that's why you can't make Havdalah from that week. So that's how the Yom Tovim are, right? The Yom Tovim come, it's from the Shabbos before or the Shabbos after, but it's always drawn from a Shabbos. The Yom Tov always gets its kedusha from the Shabbos, and that's why we learned that Yom Tov is a time that we don't have to wear our tefillin. Why? Because the whole idea of Yom Tov is Shabbos, and Shabbos is that little dot that is Meir, the 6th. And tefillin is also, we have the 3-pronged shin, the 4-pronged shin, which brings me to 7. They always remind us of Shabbos. Any questions?
Sure. Yes.
Yes? Okay, go ahead.
So, my personal issue is...
We'll talk about personal things later.
Well, it's about this, though.
Okay,
so it's
okay.
You know, it's like, how do you, I guess I remember Rabbi Nachman saying, if you're not feeling joy, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And that's
lesson 23 and 24 in Tinyana, the second book. Yeah, he tells you that over there, that if you don't have the joy, you bring... He has a beautiful lesson over there where sometimes there's always a guy standing when there's a dance going on, right? And there's a simcha going on. There's always a guy standing in the corner, right? The guy standing in the corner. So Rabbi Nachman says, go grab that guy and bring him into the dance, because he'll be the life of the party. That guy that's standing there, v'nos yogain v'anocha, you'll get it out of him. You get all the nonsense out of him. You'll bring him in. He'll be the light of the party. Yeah. So fake it till you make it. Yeah, good.
At a wedding.
Yeah.
It was one of my children's wedding, and I was out there dancing, and this kid that I came to Israel from Houston, and he saw me, and I'm dancing. He says, I don't remember, is it Mordecai or Mark or Mr. Bushin, whatever it was. He said, just let it go. Let go.
Let it go. Yeah.
Let it go. Yeah. And it was like, wow. I mean, it really.
Let it go. Yeah. That's it. Just be yourself. Be yourself. Forget about everything.
Which self? I'm the serious self too.
Yeah. Let it go. Let it go.
Not your kid's wedding. I mean, not when you're dancing at your kid's wedding.
Yeah.
That's when you.
Okay, everyone. Shkoyach, everyone. Everyone. Thank you.